Do you need some time on your own? Man, saw a graphic this morning, jumped up like the first thing in my feed. Days we go without listening to Guns N' Roses. Days of November when we listen to Guns N' Roses. Chris Courtney here, New Pragmatic. It's a fun-filled, oddly enough, shiny, happy November 5th here in the feedback loop. We are not in the cold November rain today. But we do have some submissions to look at, which I like. That's the stuff. We're going to take a look at a couple things. I specifically want to focus on Luigi's submission. It came through this morning, and it's user flows, and this is the first submission we've seen for user flows during this particular group or batch. So we're going to take a look at that. Also, I wanted to kind of circle back to Kara did some really great work last week with affinity mapping, and I kind of want to box that out or kind of show the process there because I do think it's something that could definitely benefit you if you there's a lot of people that have gone through programs, including boot camps that use curriculum that I've written before, that simply haven't done affinity mapping. And the reason that I didn't do it previously, even though I think it's a really critical component of the design process, is it's really hard to affinity map by yourself. So I'm meeting with every student. We're going through, it's a specific thing that we do, and say, hey, all right, you've gotten to affinity mapping. All right, let's gather. Let's powwow on this. It was kind of one of those things that I pinned to the board when I was making this course. I'm like, that's where we're definitely going to have a meeting, because it's a process, and it's not a process that I think you get a lot out of just doing it by yourself. Just having somebody there to question and ask and kind of suggest, and you push back. I mean, like that interaction is key. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's go ahead and get started. And if I could ever remember the keystroke that I actually inserted for that. Hey, that's Kara's affinity map. That's not where we're wanting to go yet. We are wanting to make our way over to, where did flow map go? I bet it's right here. Yes, here it is. So this is Luigi's flow map project, and for those of you that aren't familiar with flow map, it's really a great platform for creating user flows. And as you can see, Luigi's got quite a bit of work here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so we can see exactly what he's got. So it says here that I'm guessing the task is choose a restaurant. So you can either do that by browsing restaurants or searching restaurants, and then you click on a restaurant. So after click on a restaurant, you basically would choose something from the list that's provided. So I'm guessing that the direction here is clearly left to right. The question I have here, Luigi, is what screen am I on? Where am I at? You've kind of gone down this path of selecting a restaurant. We're really focused on I want to take us back to the original core prompt, in that we're creating this delivery app for our users for Fresh Market. So I'm going to go back to your user stories for a second, and it says here that you want to choose a restaurant, you want to share a menu, customize your meal. I want to choose to pick up a meal. I went to delivery and prep times. So I get this. I'm beginning to now that I'm seeing it in flow mode. So I can select a restaurant, choose a share menu, choose method to share, then share the menu, customize meal. So like customize meal, that works. Customize meal. Choose an item, add or remove ingredients, add item to order. The I would suggest that like you give yourself enough space to where you're not doing these odd little wiggles. They're not really they're not indicating a special maneuver. You should be able to just go straight across. Um, but some of these are very clear. Um, when you want to customize your order, you've got a few options here. When you want to share a menu, though, there is this select a restaurant. What restaurant are we talking about? I think that I have to back up and have to go in here to user stories, and then I have to say, okay, well, let's go back. And this is part of, this is one of the things that we have to do sometimes. We have to kind of reorient ourselves as we come back. Let's go here to the personas. And Luigi had some really cool personas. So here in the personas mode, all right. So cares 2-year-old daughter, preparing meals, orders food 3 times a week on average, prefers app like Uber Eats that store her information she's familiar with. Ease of delivery on challenging days, constant cleaning of the house, doesn't mind paying for food, but delivery. So looks like we got just extra space here. Can I get to that? No, I can't. It's view only. All right. So you got extra space, but that's not a big deal. Orders delivery for pickup, but mixes up orders occasionally. Delivery fees, healthy food. Like I'm not seeing anything in here that takes me to. This is talking about their activity. I'm not seeing anything here that takes me to. We're building an application to choose a restaurant. So I guess the thing that's throwing me here, Luigi, is like some of these like could work anywhere. I want to view delivery and prep times. I want to choose to pick up my meal. I want to customize my meal. I want to share a menu. I want to choose a restaurant. Seems odd unless you're bundling. Like I'm trying to see where the product is going. It and the question I have here is, now I've got to go back. Now I've got to like back up even further. I got to back up to, so here we are in the journal. Let's get down here to, let's get down here to action items. Like what are the action items that we arrived at? Make delivery fees and tipping transparent during the order. Allow customers to customize order and add seasonal items available in store. You create a user-friendly mobile experience that stores login. Determine whether customers can order online for both pickup and delivery. Pickup is less costly for Fresh Market. Like I'm not seeing anything in here about restaurants. So like this user story here, I want to choose a restaurant, feels like it is the restaurant angle feels like it has leaked in to this somehow. And it really jumps off when you begin interrogating your flows and you're like, wait, what screen am I on to choose a restaurant? I wasn't seeing that in affinity mapping. I wasn't seeing that in the action items. I wasn't seeing that really in the personas. the first time we saw a reference to a restaurant was user stories. So that's a piece that I want to dive in deeper with you, Luigi. I want to interrogate like where this is coming from. Like, first of all, what screen is this on? That was the question I came into this, having peeked at your user flows or flow map for a second this morning. The question I had was, okay, what screen or page of the site or app is this happening on? But upon further investigation, as we jump back into the other aspects of your work, I'm not sure where, aside from one spot right here, and it says filter restaurants. I'm not sure how restaurants suddenly became like the thing. So we need to have a conversation around how this has kind of morphed into the flows that we're seeing. And this is why we move from one set of information to the next, and we build upon. It's so that we can kind of see where the project is beginning to veer. I feel like the project began to veer a bit here. It's not that we can't like lock it down, but we've got to identify like our action items. If I say restaurant, it's just not in there. If I come to personas, the personas obviously have a couple of mentions of them eating out. I get that, but I wasn't anticipating seeing this go from a meal delivery to, hey, I need to pick a restaurant. It's like, well, the restaurant, the service provider is Fresh Market. So what's happening to our action items? The things that you pulled out of the affinity map. What's the big shift been? So I want to come back to that. When you talk about customize your meal, choose an item to add to the order. Add / remove ingredients or include. Add item to order. Like, so if I here it's like, okay, I selected something. There's going to be some sort of interface tool that allows me to customize, and then I can say save, and it saves that customization. So this is customized meal. So this is a flow for ingredients. This is a flow for instructions. Choose pickup, select pickup. The question here is from where? So like, what is that starting point? Resolve a customer issue. Click on help menu / page. If these are all, one thing I would say is if these were all on the same page or view of an app, I might just denote here at the top all flows are originating on X. That way you don't have to like put a block in front saying user on homepage, browse restaurant, search restaurants. Even though we've got to come back and talk about the restaurants thing, perhaps the it's user on homepage, click on help menu / page, and then you go to these different directions. Again, it's suddenly super heavy on restaurant. View restaurant if currently delivering. View food delivery arrival time. So view arrival time on browse or restaurant page. If I back up, I want to go back to our action items. Delivery time Be transparent about delivery and order prep times. Um, I I don't know where the restaurant angle became so heavy. So, and it might be that you mean store, you know, but I don't necessarily know, you know, browse restaurants, browse stores, search stores. You know, I need a bigger. I need to see a line that basically sorts out for us how we went from these action items and these personas to a little bit of a discussion of restaurants. Like there's a couple of spots in here where we talk about restaurants to primarily restaurants. So Luigi, I feel like there's a shift that's occurred here. Now, you know, the big thing that I would say is I'm going to come through here and actually let's see here, projects. So I've got my pets project in here, and if I come over and I say, hey, you know what, I'm going to add a user flow. Oh, sorry. But if I come over here and say I'm going to add, I don't need to add a flow. I just need to add some more of my process. So I'm going to do this. This is a terminator, so this is the beginning or end. And to get this started, I'm going to say user dashboard. From user dashboard, I need to let's go ahead and make this a step. And here in the step, we're going to say user select a meal. Or select a plan. Select a plan. So under select a plan, and I'll drag that over so that makes the line. Select a plan. Actually it should be click select a plan. And then here I can do the diamond and choose an option, and from this choose an option field, this could be daily meals, weekly meals, or other options, other meal plans. So whatever that is, now we've got the 3, and you know, these are our options. Whoops, I hate it when it does that. So these are our options. You know, I'm on the dashboard. I'm going to click select a plan, and that just to make this select plan, and then I choose an option. So I've got to make a decision here, and I can go here, here, or here, and that is the gist of that particular flow. I've informed people where you start. You're going to click something called select a plan, and then you're going to be presented with these 3 options. Okay. So daily meals. Let's say I selected daily meals. I could come through and say, okay, on from begin, actually daily meals, product page. So I'm on the daily meals product page. I'm going to now browse browse meals. Try to think of this out loud. Let's go back to yours, because I think that you probably have something that is along the lines. Actually, I'm already in flow map, so I've closed yours and came over to mine, so I need to reopen yours. So let's select one of these that looks pretty short. Yeah, wow. Restaurant, restaurant, restaurant. Restaurant, restaurant. Restaurant. Yeah, so this is like, okay, so let's go to add a meal to my order. Add a meal from the menu, choose add to order from checkout, and then it says add meal. Here, it says add a meal from the menu. So the question here is, are you, there's a diamond here, so it's telling me that like I'm choosing from a collection of meals. Is that the option? Let's look at this. Choose add to order from checkout. So add to order from checkout. Let's come back over. Checkout page. This is now going to be an action instead. Add to order. Actually, the question would be select add to order. Options, and this could be browse menu. This could be, so I'm gonna I could browse menu. So I've selected add order, and then it's maybe going to present me with some options. I could choose to browse the menu. I could choose to add or select from prior orders, or I could simply search. And what this does, if we're following along, what this would allow you to do, and I realize that I draw roughly the same diamond and then 3 option thing over and over and over again. I do apologize about that. But what this does, it says, okay, I'm on the checkout page. I'm going to select something called add to order. And keep in mind, we haven't drawn these things yet, but we're thinking about how we would add to the order. I'm going to then say, okay, well, if I click add to order, I would get a drop down or maybe an overlay, and it would say browse menu, so I could go back and look at the menu. I could say select from prior orders, so if I had prior orders, it would give me that option. Or I could just search, so the search bar, just like if I said, hey, I don't know where it is on the menu, but I want French fries. And then from each of those, you would have the ability to select an item. But this is literally like how add menu items to add items to your order. Like, how would I do that? And not only is it add items to order, add items to order from the checkout page. Okay, and from there, I would say this is where you could get into okay, I'll just do it this way. Add items to menu. order, and this is where I probably would like just turn that white, because it's not really. Yeah, we should be able to actually get rid of the background. Oh no, can't get rid of the background. Although you might be able to. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. You know, this isn't necessarily a part of the flow, so you don't want it to look like a step that's been kind of left out. But it gives you some idea of what is this flow, you know. So that would be one way to clean this up. But I think you've tried to do that here. But right now it looks like it's literally part of the flow. So I would pull it out and just like remove that border. But then I would like, where is this beginning at? And it seems like these two are slightly different controls, and then like add a meal from the menu. Okay, well, how do I get to the menu, and where am I starting at to get to the menu? Okay, but I think a bigger issue here, aside from I need to know where we're beginning, is I need to know where all of this restaurant discussion came from, because it suddenly it kind of crashed in out of left field, and I feel like we may be on the edge of slipping off the rails here. So, and this is common. All right, this is not a big issue. Sometimes it's hard to keep an eye on the ongoing nature of what we're building, because we've been working on it for over a month now, and you've got other things that you're working on. This isn't the only thing you're working on, so it can kind of be hard to kind of keep those things straight. But I definitely, Luigi, if you want to have a more in-depth conversation about it, we certainly can do that, and I would welcome that opportunity. So that's where I'm at with it. We definitely need to kind of bake out how these things are beginning, but then most importantly, for you specifically, like, where is all the restaurant discussion coming from? All right. So I just want to take people through really quickly to look at Kara's affinity mapping work. She did a really good job. She did a really good job working on her working on pulling this together, and to see how she worked through it. And I did work with her on this. Let's go over to Figma, and let's take a look at the affinity map. So Kara, we started this process by getting all of her information out on the Post-it notes. So she had stakeholder interviews in purple, observational research in blue. Some of that, one of these got deleted, so that's unfortunate. Testing in green, analysis in red and orange, or reddish pink, I guess, and then interviews in orange. And then she reorganized this in terms of a cost issue, and you can kind of see the different colors beginning to come together. Nutrition issues, UX issues, convenience issues, and then there were lifestyle issues as well. Where you see the darkened edges is where I worked with her to identify common themes within that section. And then within that section, it came down to, okay, ingredients matter, fewer steps win, people like things that save time, customers like customization. Okay? And from there, the priority chart for her project was set. And she pulled over a Post-it for each section. So that is how Kara has gone through and taken all of her observations, recategorize them into common areas or common subjects, and then recategorize them again into themes that were happening in those subjects. So for her to get to her action items, this was a 3-step process. Observations onto the board reorganized into subject matter reorganized into theme. So I would encourage you all to, everybody leverage the affinity mapping canvas. It's right there at the end of affinity mapping on the affinity mapping chapter. And really, Kara's moving forward. I'm excited to see your personas, Kara. But that's all we've got for today. I do want to check Discord because I saw a couple of comments come through. Some of that is me. Hey, Alfonso. Yeah, okay. Fonzo is peeking in. Just waiting on you to share your portfolio journal, or not portfolio, your program journal. Alfonso, welcome back. So, in case you're wondering, we do have private channels here at New Pragmatic. Those private channels, if you get into the how it works, the moment that somebody shares their program journal with me, which is here under program journaling, that unlocks, that basically says they are enrolled. The thrust of this is, if you want to be part of the process, I need a program journal. If I have a program journal, I then move you from a basically just a designer that happens to be hanging around New Pragmatic to an enrolled status. But I have to have a journal because we have to have an ability to go back and forth. But that is officially all I have for today. With that, I'm going to go back over here. So with that, I am Chris Courtney. I hope that this has been a beneficial usage of your time. Yeah, boy, OBS is giving me trouble this morning. Hope this has been a beneficial usage of your time. Tomorrow morning, we'll do it all again, 9 a.m. Central, and I hope to see you all then. Take care.